Welcome to the L&D Blueprint, where we provide the building blocks to great customer service, learning engagement, and development. Join us as we discuss our growth blueprint. Hello, and welcome back to episode 5 of the L&D Blueprint, Advocacy in Customer Service. Once again with you, it's me, Frances Otaño Gracia, the Director of Learning and Development here at Intel. And back with us, we have the fabulous, the great Carolyn as well.
Thanks. Glad to be here. I'm excited about this episode. I think it's going to be really meaningful to a lot of our listeners.
This episode we're going to do together. I'm really excited. I know we're going to have a great conversation about advocacy. But before we dig into advocacy and customer service, I wanted to talk about advocacy in our personal life. If you are someone who is a parent, like I am, then you constantly are advocating for your children. And that could be that, speaking to their teachers because they're going through something in school or, they didn't quite get the grade you were expecting. What are they going through? What are, maybe they're missing something. And we go and we advocate for them. We speak to their teachers. We speak to the principal, right? It's something that as parents, we do all the time. But also if you're a caregiver, if you're someone who takes care of maybe an older parent or grandparent, uncle, aunt, or someone who just simply cannot take care of themselves, advocacy, in that sense could mean constantly talking to the nurses, taking them to the doctor, getting them the care they need that's very specific to their needs. And so when we talk about advocacy, we really do think of it kind of in that perspective. But we here at Intel, we have added advocacy into our customer service puzzle, if you will.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we define customer service so that we can compare it to advocacy whenever we add that in. So customer service is the reactive and immediate support provided to customers to address their needs, answer questions, and resolve issues. It's the baseline for customer interactions, and it ensures that the customers get what they expect. And there's 3 key characteristics to customer service. It's reactive, meaning that we're responding to problems and questions as they arise. 2, it's transactional, meaning that it's focused on resolving the current need. 3, it ensures the customer's satisfaction. But we don't always build long-term loyalty just by fixing the problem that's right in front of us right now. So an example of customer service would be a customer calls an airline because their luggage was lost, and the airline agent, they go through the hoops and the process to track the luggage and ensure that it's delivered to the customer's home. Really, they've solved the problem at hand efficiently. However, we've not taken it a step further to prevent future occurrences, right? And that's where we start to identify opportunities for advocacy.
Yes. And in advocacy, I also looked up the definition, right? And it says customer advocacy is the proactive representation of the customer's best interest, ensuring their needs, concerns, and feedback are not only addressed, but championed within the organization. It's about going beyond solving problems. It's about building trust and loyalty by actively looking out for the customer, even when they're not asking for it. So last episode, we talked about going above and beyond, right? And, sometimes when we resolved issues, we have to think outside the box. We talked about being nosy in the right way. I think we need more advocacy in customer service. And, to start doing that, we need to know what it means. Characteristics for customer advocacy will include proactive, not just reactive, right? So you anticipate needs instead of responding to problems. You have long-term relationship focus. It's about ensuring future success, not solving just today's issue. Acts as the customer's voice internally. Advocates influence business decision by bringing customers' insights to the table. A really great example of advocacy in customer service is, imagine a hotel, and I come from hotels, so this is a true story. And you're a front desk agent, and you notice a guest always books a room on the high floor. So without the guest asking, the agent adds a preference note in their profile saying guests would like a high floor, right? So you're being proactive. Then you assign the room on the high floor, and you make sure that you block it in the system, which we can do in hotels, right? We block rooms so that it cannot be swapped out to another room, because that is the preference of that customer or that guest. And if there's someone who comes back on a weekly basis, we absolutely should be doing that. That's advocacy, right? It might be that someone says, well, can we give that room to someone else? It'll be easier for housekeeping, for instance, to place them in a different room because that room is occupied today. But advocacy tells us that no, you know what, that is their preferred room. Let's get it for them. And so we do everything that we can in our power to make sure that our returning customer gets exactly what they enjoy. And that creates loyalty, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think in looking at these two definitions and examples, just want to summarize those key differences. So, customer service solves the immediate problem. You're fulfilling the request, sure, you're answering questions, you're ensuring that they're satisfied, definitely, right? Yet, customer advocacy, as you were saying, Frances, is looking at the long term relationship, anticipating the needs or the wants or the desires of someone else, right? And then you're speaking up on behalf of the customers. And overall, it just ensures that you are being successful with that relationship and that interaction. So, in customer service, a customer might complain that their food delivery arrived cold, and then maybe the agent refunds their order, right? Boom, I resolved it. They're satisfied. However, if I were to advocate for the customers, that would be a situation where the agent would notice a repeat complaint about cold deliveries, and they're actually going to flag that and talk to their operations team. And then all of a sudden, we get hotter food packaging improvements for all customers. So we're really looking forward, we're anticipating, we're being proactive, and again, we're advocating for the customers.
I really love that. And you say, customer service ensures satisfaction, but customer advocacy ensures success. What a
Yeah.
huge difference, right? Satisfaction can be fleeting. It
Mm-hmm,
can,
mm-hmm.
you can be satisfied today and tomorrow you don't have the best experience. Not only did we, solve the issue that came up right then, but we're also ensuring success and that it doesn't repeat again. So I love that. I love that frame of
Yeah.
mind.
Basically, frontline workers have the power to make a difference when it comes to advocating for customers, because you are that first point of contact
Yes.
for these different needs. And so I think it's neat to feel like, as frontline workers, you have the empowerment to advocate, or you're
Yes.
empowered to advocate, right? That's probably the better way to say that.
Yes, we're very powerful if we use our empowerment, right? We can
Hmm.
fix problems before they become problems. I love that. And then, we're talking about advocacy, and I know why it matters to me on a personal level, right? Again, I have three bio kids, I have one foster child, so I'm always advocating for my children, for what's best for them. They're
Hmm.
very different, they're individual, right? They have individual needs. So as a parent, I understand advocacy, in that private matter, right? In my home, but in customer service, why does advocacy matter? Well, you hit a really important one before, and that is advocacy drives customer loyalty. Customers feel valued, not just served. I
Hmm.
think that is impactful, right? That is meaningful. It creates a business impact. It's proven that loyal customers spend more and refer others. It's good for business to be advocates, right? And companies with strong advocacy programs outperform competitors. We do
Hmm.
much better in business when we are advocates. And this is the brands that I've worked in the past, right? Marriott, Ritz-Carlton's, Apple. I've not worked for Apple, but they're very similar in that sense. They invest very heavily in advocacy, in customer service, in the whole above and beyond approach.
Whereas companies that focus just on service alone, they risk being replaceable. But those
Mm.
that invest in advocacy, as you're saying, create those lifelong customers. And ultimately, becoming the customer's champion is really important because customer service keeps a business running, but advocacy makes a business unforgettable.
It's so interesting to me because when I worked in customer service in hotels all these years and luxury properties, we just called it, the mystique above and beyond. Well, we were really talking about what's advocacy this whole time.
Right.
So,
You're like,
you
I've
know,
done it. I've identified it. It's advocacy.
yes, this is what we've been always talking about. It has a name. It's called advocating, being champion
Hmm.
of our customers. And so we got to shift our mindsets, right? So the next time you help a customer, you can ask yourself, how can I go beyond solving the issue and make their future experience better? Such a great
Mm.
question, right? So as you're doing your day-to-day work, answering phone calls, if you work in a call center like Intel, or if you're at the cash register, if you're at a front desk, if you're a server, how can I go beyond solving the issue and make their future experience better? Because it's not just about the person in front of you, but everybody else who might be coming in to receive, your service. And then identify a common customer frustration you see often. If you can identify those and then come up with ways to resolve them, long
And be
fix.
proactive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
proactive, right? So if you can identify them, right, what those common frustrations are, you can really do something about it. I'll give you a great example. My first job ever was at Chili's bar and grill restaurant, and I was a hostess, and hostesses needed to do the to-go orders. And back then, I mean, I've gone back since. This was many years ago. There was no cash register in the to-go area. And literally, if someone paid cash, me as the hostess, I would have to go and find a server who had cash so I could go back and give change to the customer, right? Well, that was really annoying for them because they had to wait for me to go get change. And that could
Hmm.
take a minute, but it could take 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the general manager of the restaurant and I said, we need kind of like a petty cash bank just for hostesses. And then after that, all the hostesses always had petty cash with them so that we can provide change in a timely manner. Something
Hmm.
so simple. And that was really my first experience at identifying a need and fulfilling that need. And that's what advocacy is. And the last thing, I want to share here is share customer success stories, just like I'm doing right now, right? In your next team huddles with your friends, at work, right? Sometimes our fellow colleagues, they don't know what advocacy looks like. We
Hmm.
have to share a story with them so they know what it sounds like, what it feels like, what it looks like. And we make it a habit as we're sharing it, right? So it should be part of our stand up meetings. It should be part of the things that we discuss every day. How did we advocate yesterday? And, for managers out there, ask that question. How did
Yeah.
you advocate for a customer today or for each other, right? As teammates.
Yeah. I think those are great actionable items that we can take away from this conversation. The key differences between customer service and advocacy. So, customer service solves the immediate problem, fulfills a request, answers questions, ensures satisfaction. But customer advocacy is looking at long term relationships, anticipating needs, being proactive, speaking up for the customer, and overall, it ensures that our business is not replaceable because we are unforgettable.
Oh, I love that. So let's go be unforgettable, right? Let's go
Yeah.
be champions. Let's be advocates, and that above and beyond. Absolutely. Any last words, Carolyn, from you? I feel like this was amazing.
I think you said it all, to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear would say, right? We've got all the tools to do it. Let's go do it.
Yes. And advocacy really costs nothing, right? Just
Yeah.
having that mindset. So it's good for business. Let's keep doing it. It builds loyalty.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us in this really great episode about advocacy and customer service. I hope you share some of your advocacy stories. We'd love to hear them. So if you find a moment to share them with us, we'd love to hear those stories, and we can feature them in the future. And thank you for allowing us to be a part of your growth blueprint. Thank you so much.
Take care.